What's up, guys? I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I just wanted to take some time and let you guys know that I've been considering doing a live stream, starting to do a live stream on a regular basis. But it's going to need to involve you guys. My idea is I would like to do a cars and coffee. I'll, sit down, get the camera set up, get a cup of coffee, and get one of you guys, or more, several of you guys. We'll see. Maybe I can get 5 people in a stream. Who knows? One after another, not all at the same time. But I think it'd be a cool idea. I think there's a lot of cool things, a lot of cool cars and trucks out there that people have done a lot of cool stuff with, and I kind of want to see it. And I feel like them being able to share it on my YouTube channel, I think that's awesome. So I think what I've done is I went ahead and set up a Discord channel. I don't know if a lot of people know what it is, but Discord is a voice chat channel, voice chat program. You can get it on your phone, laptop, computer. Made a little Twisted Wrench Garage channel. You can see there at the top. I put in a bunch of different things in there. This is how I plan on doing the live streams. I'll be able to bring one of you guys into the channel. We'll be able to stream it to the YouTube live, show us what you guys are working on, show us what you're doing. If you need help on your project, maybe we can help you try to figure some things out. I also set it up so where there's a voice chat, there's going to be text chats as well. I've got chats for diagrams for all kinds of cars and trucks where you can post diagrams and go back to them if you need to. Got chat for project help, a chat for parts for sale, a chat for selling a project. I'm just working on getting all that set up. So right now, I've got a few people in there, but what I'm gonna do is down at the bottom in the description, I'm gonna put an invite link. You click the invite link, and if you want, you can install that on your phone, join the channel, be a part of the Twisted Wrench Garage Discord, and when I start doing the live stream, if I start doing it, because I'm kind of curious what you guys think. When I start doing the live stream, we'll be able to get you guys in there, and I'll be able to share your guys' projects with everyone else. Again, guys, just let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to go down to the bottom description, click that invite link, download Discord on your phone, computer, or laptop, and join the Twisted Wrench Garage Discord. That way we can start getting our live streams going, because I really want to get you guys involved. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the video. What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Twisted Wrench Garage. This week, I was planning on actually starting to get to work on this hood. I kind of want to get it painted black. We have a car show coming up Sunday that I was going to try to make it to, but we'll see what happens. Yesterday, I had some time. Went into town, and I actually got new exhaust thrown on Ramona here. Sounds really good. I can't wait to show it to you guys and let you guys hear it. It sounds so good. Way better than it did before with those old school glass packs. But on the way home yesterday, she started to actually overheat after I got the exhaust done. What do you know? You spend $300 on getting exhaust work done, and then something else goes wrong. It's just kind of the way it goes. So yesterday I got back home, just kind of did a little bit of troubleshooting, just kind of give it a look. Looked at the fan, checked the fan clutch, made sure it spun. It did spin, but it had a wobble to it, and it kind of felt like it was binding a little bit. So I went ahead and swapped that out. I didn't record, which I probably should have, but real easy. 4 bolts on the water pump, pull the fan clutch off, then you have to replace the fan onto the new one. Put 1 bolt back in the bottom before you take it all, after you take it all off, and that'll hold the pulley on, and then the new one actually has a slot. You can actually slot it down in and get your other one started a lot easier. So I went ahead and took care of that, and that did not correct my issue. When I went to, after I got it all warmed up again, it still was trying to warm up. So I got up back underneath the hood, kind of looked at the upper radiator hose, and lo and behold, the radiator hose was ballooning up like a big balloon. So I'm pretty sure that the thermostat is frozen on this and must be stuck closed, so it's not getting enough, it's not getting flow. So I went ahead and grabbed up another thermostat, gasket, and an upper hose. I'm trying to do this with the least amount of parts as possible, because again, I just got the exhaust done. So yeah, but I mean, first thing we need to do, I went ahead and pulled off the breather. I need to go ahead and get this upper hose undone from the radiator. Start getting a little bit of this fluid out of here. Try to make a little mess as I can. I know most people know how to change a thermostat, but I'm gonna show you guys me doing it because not everybody knows how. So let's get in here and let's get to work. Let's get this radiator hose pulled off, start getting this thermostat swapped out. All right, first things first, I'm gonna get this part of the hose off. See if I can not make a mess. That'd be nice. Probably gonna spill some. All right, get the clamp free. And then I like to grab a hold of the hose and give it a twist, and that will break the seal free, and then you can pull it off nice and easy. All right, let's see if I can get this in here without making a huge mess. There. Got most of it. Now for the other side of the hose. Alright, now that I've got the hose off, I went ahead and stuck a rag down inside the thermostat housing just to soak up any of that residual fluid. And then we just need to take the 2 bolts holding the thermostat housing off, and we can get that pulled out. 2 1/2-inch bolts. And that'll come free. And there's our thermostat. Pop that old girl out of there. Oh, it's gonna want to pour everywhere. Oh no! All right. I went ahead and got this all cleaned up. I shoved a rag down inside there and scraped it and took a wire brush to it just to clean it up nice. The gasket has a sticky side to it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put a thin coat of RTV on this side before I put that gasket down, because cast iron is pretty porous and there can be some imperfections in it. And this will just help close up any of those imperfections, and we'll do the same thing to the other side of the gasket. Alright. Alright, I've got that other side coated. I'm just going to set this down on here, lining up my holes as best I can. And then our thermostat goes down on that. And then the housing goes over it. Get both of them started. And we'll torque them down. Just snugging them up even. Once I get to this surface nice and snug, we're just going to give them one good quarter turn. Torque specs is about 25 inch-pounds. That should be good. I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but this is the area right where it went into the thermostat where it actually started to balloon up. So again, I'm hoping that it's the thermostat and it'll take care of it. We'll see. All right, remove our little leak stopper just to keep it from leaking all over the place. A couple of new hose clamps that I just had hanging around. We're gonna get those slipped on there, and we'll get this new hose on. Fully seated. Get the other hose clamp on, and we're gonna need to cut this down a little bit because it is cut to fit. So I think I'm gonna lop off about right there. Take a razor blade or a knife or whatever you want to use. I'll cut this down to size. Trying not to cut myself, obviously. Bam. So we just cut off just a little section there. That should be fine. Snug up these hose clamps and we'll be ready to put some more antifreeze in it. So let's get these snugged up and we'll get it topped off. All right, just spent some time, got fluids topped off. Let's fire it up and let's see what happens. Well, bad connection. Need to let it warm up now and see what happens. Alright, it might be hard to hear me, but I'm going to always double check for leaks. Anywhere where you mess with. I'm looking pretty good right now. Not seeing any leaks. I don't know, guys. I'm not convinced that it's fixed. Been sitting here running for probably 45 minutes or so. I'm going to keep an eye on it, see if it goes any higher than that. Well, guys, I think we got it fixed. It's staying right about that halfway mark. It goes just a little bit past it, but then it comes right back down a couple of minutes afterwards. I think we're good. Man, I was really worried because worst case scenario, it's blown head gasket. I mean, that's not something I really want to get into. Yeah, the gasket itself is pretty cheap, but it's not something I really want to get into because it's a big job. I'd love to show you guys how to do it though. So I'm not really wishing for that, but one day, you know, be nice to be able to show you guys how to do that. Again, sitting here running for about an hour now, still seeming pretty good. It just came up just a little bit past that half mark again, and I'm gonna keep an eye on it, make sure it goes back down again. I think we're okay. Keep in mind, guys, whenever I got this truck, I pulled it straight out of the field where it was. I got it running in 2 weeks. I took it to a car show. And I didn't really do anything other than change the plug wires, change the plugs, clean the carb, replace some belts, and that's about it. I put a gas tank in it, but I haven't replaced the thermostat. I haven't replaced any of the upper or lower hoses. None of that's changed. It's all the same. So, I mean, for the fact that it lasted another 3 years of me owning it, that's pretty darn good. So, I'm gonna call this fixed. Let me get you guys in a position so I can show you what this exhaust sounds like. Man, does it sound good. Man, that sounds good. I am going to keep a closer eye on this thing. I do think I need to top it off again. I think there's still some air in the system, so it is getting a little warmer. I put it in drive and reverse, and it seems like whenever it went into a load, it kind of got a little warmer. But again, I think it's because there's air in the system. I'm gonna let it cool down. I'll top it off here in a little while, and then I'll try it again tomorrow. We'll see if she overheats. I'm hoping not. Cross my fingers. Welcome back to another day of working on Ramona. I spent some time last night. I topped off that fluid again on the coolant, ran it some more. It stays, what's funny about it is it stays cool, and it'll stay at like a halfway mark until I put it in reverse or drive. And then that temperature gauge just starts to go up real fast, which is kind of leading me to believe there might be something going on with the gauge. I don't know if whenever they did the exhaust, whenever they were welding, whenever they grounded to the truck, if it may have messed something up. It's not their fault if it did, but I just don't know. What I found last night was after I warmed it up, I checked that top hose, came up and felt it, you know, as per normal, just to see kind of how it felt. It wasn't real hot. Felt the bottom hose, and that hose, I mean, it wasn't hot at all. It didn't feel like there was any flow going through it. The bottom of the radiator, the tank on the bottom, that thing was ice cold too, but the top, I could barely even touch. So, I don't know if it's a water pump or a radiator. Kind of leaning towards the water pump, but I have both. Luckily, I have another radiator thanks to a friend of mine, so if I have to throw it in there, I can. But I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is swap out the water pump, because we're gonna try that. Again, I think it's something, I don't know. It's weird. Maybe you guys might be able to tell me. Maybe you guys have experienced this in the past. Whenever I put it in reverse drive, it immediately starts warming up. It's not like a gradual warm up. It is immediate. The gauge immediately starts moving, which kind of leads me to believe that there might be something going on with the ground for that. Whenever I put it into reverse drive, like something is getting in the way or something. I don't know. Nothing changed. I didn't do anything underneath the dash, but I've already got the water. Well, the coolant drained out of the radiator. Still got to get the lower radiator hose off. I'm going to go ahead and start pulling this apart, seeing what we need to get taken off of here so we can get this water pump changed out. See if that was our problem. All right, I got the lower and upper radiator hose off. Still a little bit of coolant in here. Went ahead and, this has never really been off of here, I don't think. So I went ahead and removed the plastic clips that hold this all the way around here. Some of them broke. I'm going to have to grab some new ones. Not a big deal. We'll get this out of our way, and that'll give us some more vision here. All right, next up, I went ahead and loosened this bolt here on behind this pulley right here, and then there's one at the bottom you have to loosen as well, and that'll let us get our belt off. All right, we just gotta slide the belt over the fan, and we'll be able to get it out. Just like that. All right, we'll loosen up this 9/16 and this half down here, and that should allow our alternator to swing free. There we go. Now we can get those belts off too. Same as before, we're gonna pull them over the fan. There we go. There we go. Alright, some 1/2 inches on the pulley here. I'll bring this off. Probably would have been easier to do it with the belt on, but I like torturing myself apparently. Huh. Alright, we got these loose. Now we just need to pull the fan clutch off and this pulley off. Oh, I had them loose. There we go. Just getting into where I can get them by hand. You guys can't see nothing. I know it's hard to see. I'm blocking some of the light here. Got the garage door closed because it's pretty chilly today, but it's supposed to warm up, so it's actually feeling all right in here now. Three and four. All right. Fan clutch should just slide right out. All right, I'm gonna slide that out, set it aside. Like I said, you see I replaced it. Got the new one. Fan says engine side, helps you locate where it needs to go. Then we'll pull our water pump pulley. All right, the next step we're gonna do is I need to get this AC bracket at least out of my way. The AC I think can stay. So I went ahead and pulled off this top bolt here. There's two more at the bottom attached to this plate. Then you have to pull this bolt out as well, and then there's a couple of the water pump bolts that hold it. And then this should all come apart. So see if I can not drop anything here. There we go. So I'm just gonna leave that just like that, and then I'll be able to put it right back together. All right, I went ahead and pulled the alternator over here out of the way. I went ahead and loosened up this bolt right here just so I can kind of rotate this out of my way because it does bolt to the front of the water pump. So that's good to go. Gonna go ahead and replace this bypass hose as well since I'm gonna be here go ahead and pull these hoses off. It's got to come off anyways, so you can tell this one here is new. I replaced that one way back when I got the truck. So we'll get these off. And then there's 2 more bolts at the bottom. I've already got these 2 bolts out. They had a spacer here. And then we should be able to get this to move this way, out of our way, and we should be able to get our water pump out. Alright, get that transfer pipe, yeah. You can see it had mice in it before. You can see all those chew marks. They tore the crap out of it. Alright, I think we're finally at the point where the water pump will come off. Just use a little pry bar just to give it a little tug. Let's see what it looks like. Really doesn't really look that bad. I went ahead and removed the 2 transmission lines at the bottom of the transmission. I'm just removing the last few bolts to pull this radiator out. And we'll get this pulled out. And I actually want to go and throw the hose on it. I want to see how it's flowing. You got 3 on each side, 2 of which hold the condenser if you still have your AC. They're 7/16. There's our last 2. Set those aside and we'll get this pulled out, and I want to check it. I'm start working on getting this new pump on. I don't really see anything wrong with the pump that was on it, but I'll replace it anyways. And more and more I get of this done, the more I start to believe that it's more the gauge or the sensor that's messed up. I mean, that first time whenever that top hose was bulging, I mean, that was definitely an indicator that something was going on in the system, but again, I don't know exactly what caused that, because I flow tested my radiator the best I could with a garden hose, and I mean, it seems to flow really fairly well. It seems to flow better than the one I pulled out of the attic that I got from my friend. So I don't know. Half tempted just to put my old radiator back in, because it seems to be flowing. I don't know, guys. Kind of baffled by this one. It's not smoking, doesn't smell sweet at the exhaust, nothing like that. So I don't believe I have a blown head gasket, but who knows? Right now I'm just finishing up this layer of RTV on this gasket so we can set it up against the engine. Alright. Go ahead and set this up against the engine. Start letting it get kind of tacked up. Line up the holes and such. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a thin coat, probably on the water pump side, and then I'll just put it all together. Alright, let's get this new pump in here. Get some of these bolts started. I did go ahead and run a tap through the ones that I could get through, just to make sure that my threads were nice and clean for when I put these bolts back in. And the ones that are on the outsides, I'm actually going to put some RTV on those or on the threads at least, before I put them all in there and snug them up and such. I'm just getting this one to where it's kind of up to the engine here, just kind of hold it in place for me. Alright, that's probably good enough. And I'll come back and snug them back up. Now there's two really long ones, and the really long ones go on the right side. Because it has this little spacer that goes in there. And mine is actually broken. It broke right there, so I just put it back in there just like this. And oh, before I do that, actually, we're gonna take that RTV. Where'd it go? There it is. Because these bolts go straight through to the water jacket, guys. So these end up rusting out, and they have a chance to break, honestly. Whenever I had an 82 Dodge with a 318 way back in the day, and I had to change the water pump on it. And I tell you what, having those two break, it was actually this side that broke on the driver's side on me whenever I was doing it. And then I was doing it in like a apartment complex parking lot. So yeah, I didn't have a whole lot available to me. So I ended up actually having to tow it to my shop that I was working at the time to get. I had to pull basically the whole front end of it apart, timing cover, and I had to drill out the engine and re-tap those bolts, because I mean they were broken. They broke clean off at the engine. So I've made it a habit of either, one, putting some grease on these threads, which you can do, and that'll also help keep them from seizing up, or you can just do what I'm doing here, and you can just take a little RTV, and we just want to get some down in those threads, so when we tighten it down, it spreads itself out and tries to help with that rusting problem. So we just need to get, pretty sure there was another, yeah, that other bracket needs to go right there. So let me grab that. This one can go in. There we go. Let me grab that other bracket. I had to run up to the Ace Hardware down the street and grab a new bolt, because this one, it's seen some better days. It's done. So went ahead and grabbed another new one, right, the right size. We're just gonna get it put together here. And then these get torqued down to 25 foot-pounds. Torque this last one. Double check my other ones. All right, that's good. Let's go ahead and put our new bypass hose on. These things can kind of be a pain to get on sometimes. Because you have to get it on the intake as well, so. Let's see. Will you go on for me? Alright, wanting to fight me a little bit. Throw a little spit on it. See if that'll help slide it on a little bit easier. tight fit. Alright, I think I got that one good enough. Let's get this hose clamp on there. Okay. Get this one on there. Okay, pretty close. Okay, there's the radiator I took out, and there's the radiator I had up in my attic. They both seem okay. That one, I stuck the hose in, ran it forwards, ran it backwards. No, nothing big chunky came out of it. Seems to be flowing okay. Same thing with this one. This one actually had some like solder blobs in it, so I think this one has actually been repaired once. So I got all that out of that. And I can show you guys that if you guys want to see it, but I mean, it's just little blobs of solder. It came out of the bottom port. I put the hose in both, and I timed both of them to see how long it took to go from the top to bottom, bottom to top, bottom to top, and this one actually flows better than that one. About 2 seconds difference. But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this one back on. Those are those little solder blobs I was talking about. That was actually inside that radiator. So that kind of tells me that that radiator's been repaired before. So again, I think I'm gonna go back in with my original. All right, back in with the radiator. Grab our 4 for the radiator and get our top 2 started. There's one. Two. I forgot that the bottom of these was slotted, so I could have put the bottom 2 in and then just set it down. Oh well. What was that, 7/16? And there were 2 holding the top of the condenser in. One of them, a little clip broke, so I'm having to just put it back together the way it was. Put that in there. Now it's going back together with the pulley and the fan. Alright. Again, with these newer fan clutches, you can actually get a bolt started. There we go. We'll get a bolt started, and then we can actually slide this thing down in there, and it'll hook onto that bolt that I just started. Just like that. And that'll help me line up all my rest. Okay. Let's get the rest of these going. All right, spent a little time, put all this back together, put the old radiator back in like you saw. Right now I'm working on actually getting, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a little temperature sender right back there. I'm actually going to pull that out and swap it out just in case that whenever they welded it and when they use their ground or whatever, because that uses a ground signal and maybe it messed it up. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and replace it too. I mean, everything in the cooling system is replaced essentially, so hopefully this will take care of it. Alright, got the new one in. It was kind of a pain. A little 1/2-inch wrench, just going a little at a time. Now, time to top it all off and fire it up and see what happens. All right, I got it topped off best I can for now. Let's fire it up. Well, still overheating. Still doing the same thing. It'll stay pretty well in the middle until I put it in reverse or drive. Thinking this radiator might be clogged up. New water pump, new thermostat, all new hoses. I mean, I blew through the heater core through one of the hoses. I could blow through it, so it's not clogged up. I don't know. I'm just having a hard time understanding what the problem is. Well, guys, it's the next day. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get Ramona fixed. She's still having that overheating problem. I did go ahead and order up a aluminum radiator off of Amazon. It's made by Alloy Works. That night I even went through, I pulled the cluster out, put in another cluster, tried a different gauge, made sure it wasn't the gauge. I mean, the only thing I haven't changed or checked from there is the wiring, which I can check that. I can check that if I need to. And then the radiator. Everything else has been done. I mean, I didn't, put a hose through the engine, which I might do. I don't know. I think the radiator is really clogged. Whenever I put the hose to it, whenever I was on the side of the house, I did see some white, like calcium deposits from like water inside of it. And when I refilled it, it kind of made a lot of bubble noises. So I'm thinking maybe some of those ports in there are clogged up, especially with the top of the radiator being like super, super hot and the bottom being pretty cold. So I just don't think it's moving the water enough when it's under load. So we're gonna wait on that to get in. Unfortunately, that's where we're gonna have to call this video. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. But I do appreciate you guys tuning in and hanging out with me, watching me fix the truck here. But hopefully next time we'll get it fixed. But I do appreciate you guys tuning in, hanging out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys on that next episode.